Esper finally finds herself where she belongs, at anchor in a gentle sea breeze as the sun sets. We left PSS Shipyard in Chebilang, Thailand, and made the 25-mile journey to Bass Harbour on the island of Langkawi in Malaysia. For the first week, Esper and her crew rediscover life afloat and enjoy doing absolutely nothing. The jobs list, however, hadn't gone away, and after our break it was time to attend to some remaining jobs. The first would offer us some fantastic views from the top of the mast. Right, hello Jamie. So this morning we got up early-ish and attempted to put the Yankee up, the forestay, and it's still on the deck. We had a bit of a problem. So what do you think the problem is and how are we going to resolve it?
So we attempted to put the sail up, and the problem we've got is that the halyard at the top is wrapping around the foil, and this was probably what caused our problem in the first place when we had issues with our forestay. The top of the foil, which is made of aluminium, got ripped off by the halyard which caught on it, and there's a reason for this. It's quite simple, so I'll show you. If you imagine this is the forestay cable, okay, and the foil is this aluminium sheath that goes over the top, and down the bottom there it connects to the drum. And of course the idea is that when you pull your furling line, the drum turns round and the foil turns round freely around the cable. At the top here, this is the top of the sail, you have a halyard, which is a line which is hooked on here, and the halyard comes up over the top and down into the mast. The problem we've got is that this halyard, when it's pulled taut, wraps around here.
Actually, Jamie, I think you'll find the halyard goes underneath the swivel. Although we weren't in a position to fix the halyard wrap immediately, Jamie proposed going up the mast to inspect the situation and work out a solution. Early next morning, to avoid the heat and the rolling seas from the passing ferries, we prepared the bosun's chair to get Jamie up the mast. This was the first time we'd been up the mast since our refit, and it gave us a new perspective of Esper, minus her old teak deck.
So here we are, 2/3 of the way up the mast. On the second spreader. So we've got another, I can't work it out from here, 5 metres maybe. I think we're about 15 metres up. And there is Esper. New view. Of course, previously I was used to just teak all over that deck, and now we just have a little smidgen of it in the cockpit and the rear boxes. You can just see that. What a great view though. It's early in the morning. The red boat right in the centre there, those are our friends Tamar.
Now that we know what the problem is, our next step is to either order or get made a bullseye that will keep the halyard from wrapping around the foil. But that's a job for another day. After all that hoisting, some of us needed a well-earned rest. So what are we doing down here then, Jamie?
Okay, one of the things we noticed when we motored from the boatyard was that we have a leak on our raw water pump, and the raw water pump is the pump that pulls up the seawater and it cools down the fresh water in the engine. So unfortunately the seals have gone in it and we need to replace the seals. Not particularly comfortable doing it at anchor because it means once we've taken the pump off we can't move the boat in an emergency, but I'm hoping it's a fairly straightforward job. Before we do that, however, we have to get to the engine, and as you can see there's all manner of things on top of the engine. Okay, so here's the raw water pump. It pulls in water up through here and it's taken in through here, and the problem we've got is that it's actually leaking under here. I don't know how easy it is to see, but there's a lot of water down there and sort of rusty sea spray which has got all the way back here, so it was obviously quite a big leak. You can see with the salt water on here as well, so it's quite a bad leak. The first thing we have to do is to shut off the raw water inlet, which is a sea cock that goes down underneath the boat, and it comes through this strainer which is next to my hand, and there's a valve on here which you can't see, but I'm just turning and I've closed that off because obviously when we take off these pipes we don't want water gushing in.
So now it's 2 hours later, and Jamie, which bolt are you on?
I'm on the last bolt, and we haven't even taken the pump off yet. The problem is the 4 retaining bolts that keep the pump into the housing had, well, they haven't been taken off for a while, and the bolt heads, the hex heads, had obviously got lots of salt water on them, a bit of corrosion, and then you put a size 10 spanner on them and you end up turning the corners of the hex nuts. You end up smoothing the corners, and I'll show you in a second because you'll see when I take this out.
Go on then.
It's taken this long. Right,
You done it?
I don't know how well you can see, but here on each corner,
Put it here, Jamie, on the lid here. There we go.
on each corner, you see how it's smoothed off. Now the problem with the standard spanner, or at least a closed-headed spanner, and the same with a small socket set, these are made up of I don't know how many corners, but what happens is when you put it on it slips. So the only answer is to use something that is the same shape with the same amount of corners to turn it. But as you saw, the angle was very difficult. Anyway, if we had regularly maintained this and checked this every year, we wouldn't have this problem. So Liz has found some new bolts. You can see the difference here, how much that one has lost its shape. Anyway, that's that bit. Now we've got to get the actual pump out. That should be fun.
It took us 4 hours to remove the pump, and it was clear that we needed to replace the seals and bearings. Next stop, Langkawi town, but the shop only had one bearing and was unable to press out the old ones.
No?
I go to foundry.
Okay. Just up the
bearing
road.
is not enough. Just have one only.
So you only have one?
One.
Okay.
One, you want to repair it or?
So what I'll do is I'll take the one and I'll replace this one, and I'll just keep this one on here for the moment.
This one is still okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Better than this.
Yeah, exactly. So if
Actually, better you change too.
Yeah.
When you want to repair it, Saturday, I cannot.
Well, the problem is that I'm at anchor, and this is my water pump. So it's quite important, and I have to get this going. So I'll take the one that you have.
By mid-afternoon, we'd sourced a new bearing and decided to keep the better of the 2 old ones. But now we had to find a workshop to press out the fittings. On the way out of Langkawi, next to a mosque, is an old foundry that had been recommended to us.
So here we are at the foundry. And this guy is going to remove my sill for me, hopefully. This is what we want. Could do one of these on the boat. Nice big press. That's okay, I don't need the old one, but there it is. Well done. So there's the old water seal. And that's the bearing we're going to be replacing.
Here also got one water seal here.
Okay, I just attempted to put the new bearing on and got the water pump and started smacking it with a hammer, and the guy came over and told me that you must never knock new bearings like that because you'll knock the ball bearings out of alignment, and you must use a press. Anyway, I think he's gone off to see if he can find a second bearing for me, because the guy in the other shop only had one, and if we get two new ones that'd be fantastic. So, learning more things here. The new water seals, apparently the springs are made of mild steel, which is useless for seawater. So what he's done is he's actually given me an O-ring. And the other thing he taught me was the water seal that came out the front end of here was in the wrong way round. And that wasn't me that did that.
Dry already.
Yeah, this is no good.
So I put a new grease.
So, Jamie, how's the water pump going?
Was it about 10 o'clock this morning? I said that this was a fairly simple job. It's now 6:30 in the evening. We're at our old haunt raised bar. This is Little Ginge, and this is our once white water pump. It's now covered in grease, but it's taken this long to fix it. It's taken all bloody day, and it involved going to see two people in town, one man to get some new bearings and another man to put it through the press and to press the bearings back in place. Anyway, I think it's okay. It seems to be alright, but the proof will be when we put it back on this evening. So anyway, no such thing as a simple job on a boat.
This simple boat job had taken us a day, and all we'd done was sort out the parts. We still had to get to Esper to fit the pump back on the engine. We'd been delayed for so long that by the time we returned to Langkawi's Blue Jetty, where yachts at anchor can moor up on their dinghies, the water had completely receded. Someone hadn't been paying attention to the tides.
Okay, Liz, you're sitting on the famous Blue Jetty. Why are you sitting on the famous Blue Jetty?
Because we can't get off the famous Blue Jetty because we've not been religiously studying the tides, and I thought that the tide was on its way out, so we went and had a drink. Well, it wasn't. It was, sorry, I thought it was on its way back, but it's not. It's still going out. We've got about 3 inches of water underneath the water boat. Right, this is how much water we've got. that's more than 3 inches. That's how much water we've got. But of course, to get out, we've got to go all the way out there. It's probably going to be even less water out there. And it's revolting. It's, God knows what this hideous gloop is under here. After waiting a short while, we punted the dinghy from the Blue Jetty and back out into Bass Harbour, where Esper was waiting for her water pump to be fixed. Engine water cooling pump, part 3.
I think it's part 10, isn't it?
Feels like it.
Well, after our little escapade, we paddled out in the shallow water in the end. We had to take the dinghy over the blue pontoon and quickly paddle out so that we were deep enough to put the outboard in. Anyway, it's 8:15. We're both extremely tired, and I think today was a lesson in how there is no such thing as a simple job on a boat. I can't remember my exact words at 10 o'clock this morning, but I think I said this is pretty straightforward. No, it bloody isn't. It's taken this long to get this thing sorted, and it's still not perfectly sorted because we only managed to buy one new bearing. Anyway, doesn't matter. I've just put some gasket glue on, which is this stuff. We leave that for a few minutes for it to cure and get this thing bloody back on, because much as I really want to just sit down in the cockpit and have a beer, I will not sleep easy knowing that this is not back on the engine. So anyway, job done. Job done.
That's it for this episode. Next time, we take you on a trip to the island of Penang, visit some familiar old haunts, and discover some new places of interest too.